down.
And welcome back to the Daily Dose of Dalton podcast. Coming to you with, I believe, episode 5. So, not a crazy week. Not really anything magnificent that happened, really. At least in my life, certainly. But something did happen this week that I want to apologize to anyone. This is my formal apology to anyone I've ever either lived with, been in a car with, been in school with, basically anywhere. And I've started singing along to a song or, did something. I'm very sorry that I subjected you to that because I heard a recording of myself singing this week and I was like, oh my gosh. And I heard what I sounded like. And I'm just, from the bottom of my heart, I am so very sorry. Am I going to stop singing in public? No. But at least I'm aware now. Can I sing? No. But will I continue to sing every time I hear a song I like or just burst out into random songs because it pops in my head? Yes. So, I'm sorry. But, if you're still around me, you know I've done it, so I guess you're here to stick around. And you know what to expect by now. But anyways, I just thought that was kind of funny. Because I was like, oh my God, that can't be me. Surely not. But it was. So, moving on from that note, I do have kind of a funny story. Last weekend, me and Courtney went to a wedding reception for one of her classmates at school. They had like a private close friends, family ceremony early on in the day, which I think that's the way to go, but I may be a little biased. And then they had like a more open reception later on that night, and more people were invited to it. But, holding that's 3 weeks in a row. I can't believe that. That's so funny. Hopefully that won't be anymore. But, anyways, we ended up going to that. It was out in Russellville, so it was almost an hour away from us. But we get there and we sit down. We ate beforehand. We ate on the drive over because we were already hungry. But one of Courtney's classmates came up and she was talking to me, introduced herself, and we were just chatting. And then she said, "Oh, I need to get my boyfriend and bring him down here." And she was like, "Hey, like, honey, come here." And he was sitting at the other end of the table. And I said, "Hey, I'm going to mess with him. Does he go to a big high school, or he go to a big high school or a small high school?" And she said, "Oh, well," and I said, "What's his name?" She said, "Oh, his name's Cooper." And she said, he went to a bigger high school, wasn't small." And I said, "Well, what's the name of it?" And he's like walking over, like starting to get up. And she goes, "Oh, it's a small, all boys, private Christian school in Memphis." And I said, "Christian Brothers." And she said, "What? Shut up. Oh my gosh, no way." And I was like, "I know that school. Like, I know that. Like, I know exactly where that is." She's like, "You got to mess with him." And he's like standing behind her now. He's talking to two of other Courtney's classmates across the table. She's like, do it. I'm like, "I don't know." And then he just comes over, and he goes, and before he can speak, I stick my hand up to shake. I go, I said, "Hey, Cooper, man, nice to see you again. How you doing?" He goes, "We haven't met before." And I go, "Yes, we have." And we're still just holding hands, just shaking them. And I go, "Dude, like, we went to high school together." He said, "No, we didn't." And I said, "Yeah." I said, we graduated together, Christian Brothers, class of 2019. And his eyes just got big, and then you just see his heart sink. And he's like, and he kind of froze for a second. He's like, "Dude, I'm so sorry. I don't remember your name. Like, I'm blanking. I'm sorry." And I said, "Dude, it's me." I said, "It's Robert Phillips." I said, we went to high school together." I said, "You really not remember me?" And his girlfriend's like standing behind him, just covering her face. And Courtney's sitting there trying not to say a word. And her other friends are just sitting there watching, trying not to, give anything away. And he's like, "Dude, I'm sorry. I don't remember." He goes, "You didn't go to my school." I was like, "Yes, I did." And he said, "Who'd you hang out with?" And I said, "Oh, me." And I just started naming off some baseball players. I won't say their name, but it was baseball guys I grew up with and played with. And his eyes just got big again. He's like, "Dude, I'm so sorry. I don't remember." And The whole time he's still just holding my hand, just shaking. It has not let go, and we're probably like 2 minutes into the conversation at this point, just going back and forth. And he's like, "I'm sorry, dude. I just feel so bad. Like, I can't believe I don't remember you. Like, I'm just." And then I started feeling bad, and he's like, "Oh man, Robert, it was good to see you again. Like, man, I'm sorry. Like, I'm gonna remember you now. I promise." And he said, I'm like, I'll promise. I'll do better." And I looked at him. I said, "Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate it." And I said, "By the way, I didn't actually go to your school." And you can see the relief just came over his face. And he's like, he goes, "Well, I'm gonna remember you now, Robert." And he looked at everybody and said, "Who else was in on this?" He goes, "Well, with Robert, the jokester here, huh? Which one of you?" And yeah, I just thought that was funny. So, yeah, it's just but it's also kind of funny because of how much of a small world it is. This dude just lived like 30 minutes away from me his whole life. Well, I guess not his whole life, but for the high school years specifically, 30 minutes away from each other, playing baseball tournaments near that school, which he didn't play baseball, I don't think, but and then we meet 5.5 years, 5 years after um, we graduate high school at a wedding reception. Yeah, reception in Russellville, Arkansas. Just kind of wild to me. And then we had people in common that we knew, and yeah, just it's a small world, kind of like that. What was it, Disney ride? But anyways, I just thought that was kind of funny. So I will say, Happy Pride Month to the bikers we saw in that bar. Also there was like the private like rooms area over to this side on the second floor, and then there was like a bar, and then some tables, and then a stage where a guy was singing. Which also he sang like 5 songs, and then he said, "I'm going to take a break," and then apparently had some malfunction, and he was gone for like an hour. So we only heard like 5 songs live, and then we heard one as we were leaving. But that's besides the point. Um, Anyways, there was a bunch of guys in the bar and one girl because they're inclusive, but they had the big leather vests. They had these very poorly stitched on emblems on the back and signs. I'm not going to say who they were, but because I don't want to get tracked down. But they looked like a bunch of people who watched Sons of Anarchy one time and were like, "Oh yeah, we can do that. Let's get some tattoos and just we could make this our thing. We could do this." They had the lamest handshake out there, and they like let out some yell, and I was like, "Oh, it's just really funny." So I just wanted to give them a shout out, and Happy Pride Month, guys. Good for y'all. But yeah, uh, watched the presidential debates last night. Let me tell you, that was. I'm not going to get into the politics of it. This is not meant to be a political show. This is not meant to try to voice any or force any opinions on anybody. And I, usually share my own opinions and thoughts about things, but it was rough watching it last night, and not even for like political reasons or anything else. It was just so sad watching Joe Biden up there to struggle. He didn't know where he was. He was stumbling over himself. He just looked so rough and sad, and it broke my heart a little. And really, all you got to say about that is shame on his family, and shame on his wife, who even after I saw videos of he was sitting there just sitting there smiling, looking around, still lost, and she's sitting there like, "You did so good, honey." Like, yeah, like, and like basically leading his like after party, and like she's the one enabling all this stuff. And so shame on Jill, shame on his campaign advisors, shame on whoever is letting him get up there. Like, he's 80 something years old, and it's just sad. Like, it breaks my heart because it's elder abuse at the end of the day. That's all it is. It's elder abuse, and they're taking advantage of a guy who's not in good health and it, I mean, it's frustrating. Just imagine that was your grandpa out there, and he was getting paraded around and made a fool of in front of, you know, the entire world. Because not just our country was watching the debate last night, but the whole world was, and it was just sad. And I mean, even Courtney was like, "I wish I could just go give him a hug." Like I know, you know, we don't line up morally wise, but I just wish I give him a hug because he doesn't know what's going on, and it's so sad. And I agree. So, um, even though it was really sad, we got a lot of great meme potential. I've already seen a bunch that are good. Let me see if I can find some real quick while I'm thinking about it. Um, it's just sports ones, so I probably won't care about that. Um, what else? What else? Oh, I guess this would be a good time to announce that I will be running for president of the United States for 2024 as well. Because if those guys up there can do it, then so can I, dang it. I mean, before you say no, just hear out my platforms, okay? Platform? Yeah, platforms. Number one, age limit. No more oldies in Congress. Number two, that's really all I had. Um, everyone, that's really all I got. I can't think of anything else. It'd be fun. It'd be lit. Um, I would end border crisis. I would just stock up military. Nobody would mess with us, foreign or domestic. Um, I'd be running a pretty tight ship. I'd probably get assassinated within my first year, but you know, the only regret I would have is that I didn't have more lives to give for my country. Quote some old dude in a wig. Um, but yeah, that's really all I got to say about that. And this might be a shorter episode. I really don't have a whole lot to talk about. I know this isn't great material, but that's where I'm at in my life right now. It's just been kind of a slow week. So, um, I guess we can kind of just trickle on down into music. But, musically, for the past week or two, I guess week, I've had a guilty pleasure song. That song being Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter. And I hate that I like this song so much. It's so catchy. Court plays it a lot. I play it a lot. I mean, not a lot. I play it a reasonable amount for a 23-year-old man to listen to it. But, I mean, it's catchy. So, um, yeah. I mean, it kind of blew up on TikTok because of the little clip where she says, "Please don't embarrass me." It starts with an M and ends with an ER. I'm not going to say what it is, though. Or it ends with an A, depending on how you say it. But, it blew up on TikTok, which kind of makes me, I'm not saying this song in particular, but a thought I've had as of late is TikTok kind of ruining new music? And I mean, I know people would promote songs, they might play it unreleased at a concert or an event or on a radio show, just kind of get some feedback, see how they like it. But, what they're doing now is they just drop a 15-second snippet online or on TikTok, Instagram, wherever, and it'll play just the catchiest part of the song, and people are like, "OMG, I love it so much." And then either, if it's, sometimes they'll we'll just be like, "Oh, like it blows up," and they're like, "Oh, we'll release it 2 or 3 months from now." And then people are like, "Oh, it's been so overplayed by that point." Yeah. Or they release it like immediately, and then people just keep listening to the song because of the TikTok snippet. And so it's just shooting them up the charts when really it's not even that good of a song. It's just got a, 15-second bridge or end of a chorus that's super catchy, and people are like, "Yay!" I'm not saying whether these songs are going to be good or bad that I'm going to go through real quick, but one of them was, yeah, just think about that Benson Boone guy who sings a Beautiful Things song. Good song. And that's one of the songs that like they had like the little clip of the bridge or whatever that it was catchy and it was kind of caught on after like 2 or 3 weeks, and then they're like, okay, let's release it, and then it blew up and it's almost got 1 billion streams since the first of the year, which is insane, and that's just on Spotify alone. Um, but a example of kind of a bad one would be um, I Had Some Help by Posty and Morgan Wallen. They released the bridge, and them singing super high and like got a lot of rasp and energy to it, and the rest of the song didn't really kind of match that bridge, and people were getting mad about it because they're like, you hyped this song up for you know 3 months, and it just didn't live up to the hype, and so people kind of like, so they're like, the song's overplayed, not going to listen to it. That hurts the streaming value. Um, and then one kind of just in the middle was Pink Skies by Zach Bryan. Because as soon as he writes something, he just like, okay, TikTok, here's a snippet of me playing the same 4 chords and, some sad lyrics. But on his recent song, it was like, he released a little bit of the chorus, and then he released a song. And people always fall on two ends of the spectrum with Zach Bryan anyways. They're either, I love him, or, like, not that good. That was my mouth, by the way, anybody who's wondering. But basically, he wrote like one verse and then it was just that same little snippet over and over again. So, I'm getting off topic. That's just something I thought about. TikTok might be ruining music. And shout out Sabrina Carpenter for having a singular song stuck up. It's not a singular song. It's that and You Look Like You Love Me. That's all me and Court really been listening to on repeat. Just singing it. It pops in our heads all the time, nonstop. So, yeah. That's really all I got for just things I've seen throughout the week. But, yeah. Anyways, ladies, I'm about to move into sports. So if you don't want to hear it, then it's time to go. I'll insert some little clip here in a second. Hello, gentlemen. We are back. Um, anyways, biggest thing that happened this week in sports was, and this is sad, LeBron James Jr., Bronny James getting drafted. I have never, well, not never, because there's some like moments like back when the MLB draft was like, 700 rounds long, where they would draft a random, like football player just for publicity in late rounds. But outside of those, I don't think I can say I've ever seen a player across sports be more undeserving to get drafted than Bronny James. He got drafted on his name alone, and that is it. Um, he averaged 4 points at USC. Didn't do a whole lot. He's 18 or 19 years old, about to go in a league full of grown men trying to play. He's like 6'2", or actually I think it was measured at 6'1" at the combine, when all these other places said he's been 6'4" this whole time, but he's 6'1". So I'm not saying you can't be a baller at 6'1", but you got to have a little bit of height these days. It's just, there were so many other people who could have been drafted in that spot, and it just baffles me. And, they asked Bronny in a pre-draft interview there, like, or at a combine interview there, like, what do you say to people who were saying that you're only getting drafted because of your last name and because of what your dad's name is? He's like, I just don't think that's true. Like, how are you going to legitimately say that somebody got drafted because of who their dad is? At the end of the day, I don't think that people are going to say, oh, let's draft him because of who his dad is. Like, let's do that. Because I think they're going to draft me because I'm a good player. And that's good to have confidence in yourself, but be real. When your agent at the same time, like during the draft, is calling teams saying, if you draft Bronny, he's not going to go. He's going to go play in Australia. just to make sure the Lakers landed that pick so that LeBron could stay in LA. I mean, I always hated like the people who said nepo babies, or always said, "Oh, this actor only got this role because their dad is this actor, their mom's this actor." Like, I haven't really always been on that train, but this is like the first time I've ever been like, no, he only got this position because of who his parents are, and it's just kind of tacky because he's going to out there, he's going to be a bust, he's going to be a bum, he's going to suck. He may not even play a whole lot this year. The only time he might play is just for photo ops for whenever LeBron is out there, so they can post something about it, and it's it's going to be all over ESPN the whole freaking year. Oh, first time, LeBron and Bronny are on the same court. First father-son duo, yada yada. First points for Bronny, it's going to be so overblown. If he had a name like David, I don't even know what's the last name. If he had a name like David Jones, and he put up the same numbers at USC that Bronny did, he wouldn't have been drafted. He would have stayed for another 2 or 3 years at USC. He wouldn't have been drafted. So that's just kind of tacky, in my opinion. The other thing, this draft class just wasn't that great overall, but the Grizzlies did draft Zach Edey. I think that's how you say his name. And I'm not happy with it, but he was the best available. We needed a big man. Because matter of fact is that we don't really have any. I love Jaren Jackson Jr., but he can be extremely talented, but also he just doesn't have that big man mentality, in my opinion. He doesn't have the aggressiveness that it takes to go up and get those rebounds and fight for stuff. And, he's a good defensive player, but I just don't think when he's having to constantly, when it's him like going up against the Timberwolves where it's Rudy Gobert and Cat, and he's the biggest guy on the Grizzlies roster, and he can't really do anything because it's him basically playing 2v1, then yeah, so I understand it for the defensive perspective. He'll be a good rim protector, but I guess offensively, don't really need him because when you got, Desmond Bane, JJJ, and John Morant, guess that's what you needed. I would have preferred they got the tall Russian guy from UConn, but, I hope he goes out and proves everybody wrong, even though he is like 26 going into, his first year in the league, however old he is. But, yeah. Really, there's not a whole lot going on in sports. The NFL hasn't been up to a whole lot. Oh, something with the NBA. They have, these contracts I've been seeing recently, I've been getting the ESPN notification. Where's my phone? Here we go. This guy named OG Anunoby. I don't know who that is. He might be good. Plays for the Knicks. $212 million contract. Over 5 years. I never heard of this dude. Bam Adebayo, he got 3 years, $166 million, which that's an insane amount of money for 3 years. Over $50 million a year. And in Florida with that low of income tax, if they even have one, I don't think they do. But you're paying somebody a lot of money who's, I'm not saying that these guys don't deserve some money, but that amount of money to be getting paid to just not even be an all-star, that's kind of wild. And I'm just hearing these dudes, I'm like, I don't know who these names are. And again, I'm not a diehard NBA fan, but, that's just crazy how much money these people are getting to play basketball. But I digress. Back to football. Like I said, really nothing going on. It's been kind of a boring off season. College football on the Xbox and PS5 at least are about to release. So I'm excited about that. Like 16 days left. Let's go. But it's just been kind of quiet. Yeah, that's all I got really about football, but I'll keep it short. I don't want this to be too long. Braves, they're still doing good. I mean, they're picking it up. The arms are getting back in the swing of things, ironically. Arms are looking good. The bats are still pretty hot. I say we keep Kellenick in the leadoff spot for the rest of his contract, and I say we extend him a little bit. I may drop my um, for next season my desired lineup. Um, yeah, but I mean, I say Kellenick's. I mean, nobody's bat has really been better than his in the last however long he's been in the leadoff spot. They won again today, like 6-1. So, was a good day against the Pirates, and they've got a real good pitching matchup tomorrow. Hopefully, I can find some way to watch that. Um, they got Paul Skeens and Max Fried going up against each other, and so that'll be a good pitching matchup. Excited to see what Paul Skeens does. So yeah, that's really all I got. So sorry, I know it's kind of a boring episode. Hope you liked it. If you didn't, I don't care. Just stop watching. So anyways, yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.